welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be discussing Having My Favorite in the Middle of the Night by Tsutako Tsurusawa. Now before we get started, there will be spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiling this manga, go ahead and click off now. No worries, I'll catch you next time. Now for those of you left behind, let's go over some content warnings. There may be references to drugging, rape due to drugging, unsafe sex, manipulation, obsession, arranged marriage, and cheating, as these things do appear in the manga. Now, if that's all good with you, let's go and get started. Let's start out with a synopsis. Grimm is a radio host. He spends his evenings reading letters over the airwaves, answering questions, and sharing stories about his own life. He's pretty content with the easygoing lifestyle he's cultivated for himself. However, his simple life gets a little bit more hectic after being invited to a party with all manner of entertainers, including models, actors, and the like. Grimm is already looking for his escape when he meets renowned star Masachika. As it turns out, Masachika is a massive fan of Grimm's radio show. Anyone would be happy to hear that, including Grimm, but Masachika seems to be more interested in Grimm than his radio show. While Grimm is flattered, he's not interested in anything with a young man like Masachika. He's all too happy to escape back to his quiet life, but Masachika is much more tenacious than Grimm gave him credit for. Can Grimm keep his distance, or will Masachika lure him into an inescapable trap? Just so you guys are aware, this is the third entry of a series. The other titles are Saving My Favorite for Last, which is the first, and A Stomach Full of Secret Delights, which is the second. I'll do my best to remember to annotate this, so you can just go straight to those reviews. I have reviewed them already, and you can watch those before you watch this. Now let's get into the art. This is the best art of the entire series thus far. It's much cleaner overall, which makes it much more enjoyable to look at. More importantly, it has my favorite character in the entire series, Grimm. He has all of my favorite physical attributes, being that he's tall, beautiful, and has long dark hair. Yeah, he's everything. I personally think this is worth reading just for him, but I am incredibly biased in that regard. Grimm is stunning. Masachika is pretty too, of course. Still, he looks a lot like every other character we've seen since he is related to characters from the first entry in the series, so he's less interesting in comparison to Grimm. Beyond his looks though, Grimm's personality is great. He's very chill with a bit of a bite when it comes to Masachika. He's very down to earth, which I love. Grimm might be my perfect man, but he is a bottom, which is unfortunate for me. I love that for him though. Enough about my obsession with Grimm. Let's talk about Masachika. I'm not a fan of Masachika at all. He's an obsessive top, which isn't bad, some of my favorite tops are obsessive, but he's very childish and spoiled, which is just grating on my nerves. He's so spoiled, in fact, that because Grimm isn't just falling all over him like everyone else does, he feels he has to drug Grimm to force him into releasing his pheromones. It's disturbing, and Masachika never gets better, being very one-note compared to Grimm. While I love Grimm so much, his story is pretty weak due to Masachika. However, much like the other entries in this series, this is a collection of multiple couples in the same universe. To me, the other stories are better and deal with established couples from the previous series. Specifically, this has stories from Rintaro and Yuji, and Yasuda and Naochika. Of the three couples we see, my favorite story is about Yasuda and Naochika. I love that we see one of these beautiful catmen struggling with aging and his looks. Can relate. It's a lovely insight into their lives after marriage, how they handle jealousy and self-care, and their insecurities. I would take 30 more volumes of this and this couple because their personalities are fun and their love feels so real. The final couple of this volume, comprised of Rintaro and Yuji from Volume 1, is fine. It's less of a story and more of a smut fest, which I am all too happy to get. On the topic of smut, there's plenty of it. While the art has improved and is cleaner, the smut is still a bit hard to read. It's still a good time, but it can be annoying trying to stop and discern whose body parts are whose, what position they're in, etc. Granted, having to stop and look at smut for a bit longer isn't really that big of a negative, is it? With all that being said, I much prefer this to the second entry in the series, and while the main story wasn't my favorite, I still enjoyed this overall. Grimm is great, and I hope that we'll get to see more of him if there are future entries. This series overall, though, is a hard sell with the second volume, and I think it'd be hard to read this one without the context of the other two. But if you can stomach the content of the second one, I do think this one is worth a read. It's smutty, fluffy, and a good time altogether. So, have you read Having My Favorite in the Middle of the Night? If so, what do you think? Do you agree with my assessment? Do you not? Let me know and comment below. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time. Bye!